boys. What's going on? How are we doing?
Didn't somebody leave a comment saying like you guys always look like you're about to get on the golf course? Something like
I
that?
believe they did.
I purposely wore a T-shirt today,
Nice.
knowing we were going to record. Just like, you know what? That's not who we are.
That's great.
I look like
Sometimes-
I am ready to go play golf.
Yeah.
Sometimes
seriously.
we keep our golf clothes in our car.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you were changing in the bathroom. But what's going on, boys? How we doing? How's the week been?
Hanging in there, man. We got
Yeah.
to Cedar Point this weekend as a family, which was cool.
Oh, wow.
We have family in town right now.
Nice.
My wife has a big work event coming up for the July 4th holiday. That's
Nice.
upon us. But they come up from Tennessee. They love Cedar Point. And so we were like, let's make it happen. Saturday. It was actually a perfect day because it was overcast. It was like starting to rain a tiny bit when on our drive up there. So it kept the crowds away. We were able to get up there and have a good time and not bake in
Yeah.
the sun too much. But
Nice. I'm living out my childhood dreams right now. With the World Cup being in the US, I have gone all in.
Are you watching every single game?
No, it's hard to do that. I'm keeping an eye.
Is it always on? Is the TV
I mean,
always
there's a game
on?
on right now.
Yeah, no, but is it
Yeah.
always on? It's like always
At home, yeah, it's always on. Well, I'm usually listening to it at the very
okay,
least.
okay.
But like some of the games are on like a crazy time, and I'm not staying up to watch Algeria versus Jordan at 2 a.m.
no.
I actually watched that game.
Do you really?
It was like 1 o'clock. I'm not going. I flicked it on. I was like, oh,
It's the
these are
only
two teams I had no idea even had World Cup teams.
It is funny because my wife will walk past and she'll look at the acronyms and she's like, which team is that and which team is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's Cape Verde versus
You
Saudi
open
Arabia.
up your sticker book and go, hold on, let me show you.
One sec.
I'll show you the alt jersey. Guys, I actually got an antenna for like $12 on Amazon.
Okay.
Put it in my smart TV, and now I'm rolling with the World
Now
Cup. I
you're
don't have to
rolling?
go Spanish
So
only.
the US is playing again. By the time this releases, the US would have played Bosnia at that point. So that's a
Right.
huge game. So if it's not on your radar,
Yeah.
US Bosnia is something that you have
July
to
1?
watch. July 1st.
Yeah, July 1, yep.
I want to say 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, they seem to always be late night.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
later
US.
games.
So the US is based West Coast for pretty much the entire tournament
I
right
got
now.
you. I got
So
you.
I think between LA, Seattle, and then I think they'll eventually, assuming they progress, they'll start moving. I think closer to Dallas, and then
Nice.
So we got the U.S. and England in the knockout.
in the knockout stages. Yeah,
Well, England
And
just won yesterday, didn't
England beat Panama to top the group. So
Yeah.
they are now they finished first in that group. So they've got like I think we were talking about this offline, but like the way the bracket works is depending on where you finish in your group, that then computes where you'll be in like sort of the next round. So England are going to Atlanta to play Democratic Republic of Congo.
The DRC.
The
baby.
DRC.
Yep.
Yeah.
I watched like 5 minutes of the Argentina game
Yeah.
just to watch Messi take this kick around this like wall of defenders. I don't know if they're trying to let Messi win the World Cup because this
You're
shot,
not the only person who
this
said
shot, dude. It's like, how did nobody close this gap, and how did the goalie not slide over, knowing that's the only gap available
Yeah.
in the wall?
that. So you also said that you're not the only person who said that about Messi, but also if you look at the way the brackets are computed, you've got Argentina on one side playing countries that I think didn't really exist.
That's what I'm saying.
4 years
Meanwhile,
ago.
you've got Spain, Portugal, Brazil, like
all
all these like,
fighting it out.
stacked
Yeah,
teams.
exactly. You're like, what is going? That's why I asked you earlier. I'm like, how are these brackets
I
constructed?
mean, Argentina's playing Cape Verde. I had to look up where Cape Verde
Yeah.
is. Like, I had no idea.
it's the most bizarre thing. But
Nice
he,
being the number one seed, I guess, when you win last year, right?
Yeah, there's something.
he
something
hits
odd.
this shot, and it was just like, I mean, I'm not suggesting I'm a very good soccer player, but if you would have lined that up for
It
me,
felt like
you
make
could
a
have blocked
wish.
it.
yeah.
39-year-old man with.
and even his cheer was kind of like, yeah, but in his heart, he knew that they gave that one.
You know, it's suspicious when the keeper of the opposition cheers the ball to go in. Well, look, with the World Cup in full swing, reaching the knockout stage, I always find it super interesting when in the build up to games they'll reference a marquee player on one of the teams, and they'll make a comment along the lines of so and so has been working his whole life for this. He gave up such and such at the age of 8 years old. At the age of 14 his parents shipped him off to wherever.
Yeah.
And eventually he achieves his lifelong ambition. And you guys in particular have kids who are of an age where they're starting to dream big and maybe have some kind of aspirations. And we were all kids once, maybe with aspirations of our own and
yeah.
supportive fathers who may have But it's funny because like
Or pragmatic fathers.
pragmatic. I love how you phrase that. Pragmatic fathers. But every kid starts life believing they can be anything, right? Like astronaut, footballer, rock star, whatever.
Yep.
But somewhere along the way, life starts editing that list, right? Sometimes it's reality, sometimes school, your friends, parents. But today's episode is about deciding whether we are dream killers, dream protectors, or dream managers.
Ooh, dream manager is a good word.
Yeah. So let me kick it off with a question. What did 8-year-old Matt want to be?
The funny thing is, I always wanted to be a dentist growing up. And can I tell you why I think this is the case? So in the 80s, they didn't really understand how sugar impacted your
No, they
teeth.
didn't.
So there's like, my mom would give me a lot of apple juice as a kid. Needless to say, love you, Mom. But I went to the dentist a lot, and they always gave me laughing gas. I went in the age where I was like, this place is great, because I'd show up, they put this thing over me. I was gone for the next 20 some minutes while they're working on my teeth. And then I'd go home.
You're like,
and
I want to live near that tank.
what is it about that
Wow, an
tank?
8-year-old addict.
Yeah, they start. Yeah, I think that's pretty problematic. I don't think they do that anymore.
Maybe they do.
I don't know.
Child of the 80s,
you want to
right?
be a dentist
I
at
always
8 years
want
old.
to be a dentist for some reason. Yeah, that's the only reason I can imagine why I wanted to be a dentist. I was like,
Did your parents encourage it?
it's just when you're 8, they're kind of like, yeah,
They're like,
Matt,
he's high.
You know,
Well, but
Wait for the come down.
give yourself 12
here's
hours.
a popsicle and some cartoons, kid. Come back to Earth with the rest of us.
Yeah, it wasn't something that changed. I think when you get older and then you realize, like, I don't know if I really want to be like digging around people's mouths.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what 8-year-old Matt wanted to do.
Interesting. What
Yeah.
about 8-year-old Andrew?
I wanted to be a cowboy. Like,
What?
I'm not kidding you.
Seriously?
I wanted to be a cowboy. Yes, I was
Like cowboy boots, horse.
cowboy boots, horse, the whole thing. I loved it.
Huh.
Like loved it. Loved the whole thing
That's
about it.
awesome.
That's what I want to do. No,
Now,
obviously.
where did you see cowboys? TV
Well,
shows?
so we
or
weren't like we didn't have like all the cartoons. So like
Okay.
He-Man and all those, like we never got into any of that.
Yeah.
But they would let me watch like old black and white westerns because
Oh,
those
nice.
were like, safer.
Yeah.
So like Lash LaRue, this was this guy who was like, think of him as like
Yeah.
he would use whips for all sorts of stuff. I don't know. It's super nerdy, super weird.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a cowboy.
That's great.
So like, but in terms of like reality, like of course I want to be an athlete. I want to be a baseball player. I want to be something like that from
Okay.
like an actual like
Yeah.
whatever. Because
100%.
you can't really be a cowboy. But like
Same.
if you were to ask an 8-year-old Andrew, like, hey, what do you want to be? Like a cowboy.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. I don't care. I want to be a cowboy.
If my 5-year-old is listening right now, you can be a cowgirl.
You
okay,
can-
don't
yes.
listen to what
Yeah,
Andrew's
yeah,
saying.
exactly,
You can still be a
exactly,
cowgirl.
exactly.
I have
Oh, no,
someone
like,
I have someone in that phase right now.
I am going to realize my dream one day. I told my wife, I'm going to buy 2,000 acres in like
Yes.
North Dakota.
Yeah.
I'm going to get like thousands of buffalo or cattle or something like that. And I will be a cowboy every year. I'll take the PJ out there. I'll spend 2 weeks,
Scratch golfer.
two weeks on horseback managing the herd, and then I fly back to real life. Ask
love
my
it.
wife. I've told her this is
love
my
it.
dream.
Okay.
That is my dream. That's the you made it moment.
Hearst
for me.
Ranch.
I get to
I've
be.
never
I
heard
get to
that
be a
before.
cowboy. Yeah.
I've never heard you
That's
want to be a
great.
cowboy.
Yeah, I actually just was talking about this yesterday. You can ask
Really?
my buddy Nick.
That's
I
great.
literally just told him this yesterday.
I love it. The dream's still alive.
Dream is still alive.
you can always attain it. Yep.
So what age did your parents kill that dream?
I don't think my parents ever killed that dream, but the pragmatic nature of like you grow up in a household that is like, well, you got to earn to live.
Yeah.
You're looking around for all the other cowboys. You're like, where are my boys? Where
Where'd
are
all
my people at?
Where'd all the cowboys go? And then when you don't like country music, it makes it even more.
Yeah.
It makes it even more challenging to find.
That's why he's friends with me. Cowboys and Indians over here.
Closest you could get.
Closest you can get. I'm an Indian. But in general, so like, were for you guys, were your parents realists? Were they cheerleaders? Were they dream crushers? Like, were they the coach? Like, how did your parents respond? I'm not talking specifically about the dentist or the cowboy. I mean, just in general. Like, as you grew up, what kind of parental, figures were there?
I think. Now I didn't grow up poor or anything
Yeah.
like that. We grew up very like middle class, maybe lower middle class. I don't know the exact term. I was always happy. It never was an
Yeah.
issue. But that was like, you always sort of had to think about like, well, you're going to have to eventually provide. Like both my parents came from backgrounds that there was not a lot. So it was like survival is maybe the wrong term, but there was always like, well, you're gonna have to go out and earn.
Yeah.
And the idea of like playing like travel sports was not in the cards for us at all. Like there was never going to be a travel sport, even though we had like, I was a relatively good soccer player and I'd have coaches call and be like, hey, we wanted to come try out. My parents were like, nope, not for you.
Could have been at the World Cup.
Could have been the World Cup right now.
Yep.
I don't
Peak
know.
age.
I don't know. 40-year-olds peak age.
Well, Cristiano
Messi,
Ronaldo's 41.
Yeah, well,
and
me and
Messi's
Chris-
39.
I don't know if we would have had the same trajectory, but you know, we can always dream. But that just was from a young age. You realize like, okay, it's going to be like that's just like those type of things are so few and far between. And so I think I don't know. I think my parents thought I could do a lot of things, but maybe being an athlete at 5'10" is not going to be probably the number one thing I'm going to do.
Could have.
Maybe.
I don't know. I had a baseline level of athleticism, but I think coming from an immigrant family, anything short of getting an education and providing for your family, that was the only option.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it like dream crusher is the wrong phrase because that has like
I think
such
he used the word pragmatic is the exact word.
It
It's
is
like,
pragmatic.
That's ridiculous.
But the thing with pragmatism and look at like what like careers have now turned into, like they're not pragmatic careers. Like they are careers that like require you to take the handbrake off. And so if you are a parent of a child, I'll take cowboy out of it, but maybe dentist is more of like a realistic, career goal or a sports style or whatever that is. There was once a parent to an 8-year-old that said, I maybe can't see the talent right now, but if this is something you're passionate about, we may as well try. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. Where it gets tricky and where I find these stories kind of interesting is typically these aren't only children, like in the broader context of it. So usually there are siblings at play.
Sure.
And the example you gave of like the travel sports, you usually get like one sibling who the parents ultimately then start like investing in, and all the other siblings are kind of coming for the ride, which is maybe why when you sometimes see like a, I don't know, person get drafted like for the NFL, you've got like the entire entourage coming with them, because I'm assuming that entourage was with them from the
get-go.
from the very beginning. But if you take kind of like your upbringings and maybe kind of your current status from a career standpoint, how do you then manage dreams and expectations of your children?
It's a good question.
My kids, I think, are just still right at that point where they're starting to think about those things. Like we ask them, we try to start those conversations.
What kind of things come up in the Welch household with the girls?
I have one that's interested in engineering right now, space engineering, which I think could be really cool.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have NASA around the corner.
Yeah, I have another one who wants to be a baker. She loves treats and sweets, and she likes helping around bake. Have another cowgirl.
Yeah.
So
represent.
Don't
let that dream die.
Dream is still alive.
Keep
man.
it alive.
Dreams.
You can accomplish it.
But I'd be curious on, because I know you have a couple older kids too. Like, when did that conversation? Because at some point it's fun. They're little kids. You're like, yeah, you can do anything. But then at some point you also realize, like, hey, like if you really want this, you're gonna have to take actual steps to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, you just had Gabe obviously finish high school, taking those next steps. But like, when did those conversations with him maybe become more real to foster like actual action?
Yeah. I think it's kind of two parts. Like if your kid is like, I want to be a dentist, right? You as a parent are like, well, okay, great dream. You know, that's a great dream.
Yeah.
Like it's something you could probably attain. It's just a school thing. It's not too hard, good money. So as a parent, you'd be like, well, that's fantastic. It's when your kid is what we would probably call from an adult's perspective being unrealistic, being like, oh, I want to be a professional basketball player. And you're like, well, you know,
you're 5'6".
You're a 5'10" white kid.
Yeah, you're a 5'10" white kid who,
and you're middle class.
Yeah, you're probably not going to be a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
And I think those are the dreams that it's really hard as a parent to like stand behind. But one thing I know a couple other dads who have done this where their kid was like loved a sport, was absolutely loved a sport, and he basically made a deal with him. He goes, listen, I will go as far as you want to go with this sport, but there's a few caveats. I will never wake you up in the morning to make it to practice. You have to wake it up. You have to tell me your schedule. So basically forced ownership onto the kids.
Yeah.
Because I think what happens sometimes as parents, we're going to use sports as an example or any sort of like gymnastics, anything that you kind of qualify as like one of those sports that you hear these stories of, like, you know, a Mario Lemieux like skated for 14 hours a day and his kids couldn't, the parents couldn't take his skates off. I think there's people like that out there who are just so focused on it, but I think there's a much broader group of people whose parents are trying to live their dream through their kids.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, great example, right? Where like you have to, like that kid has to be driven to a point, and that's the only way I would see one of my kids being able to do it. Like One of my boys, literally, he is outside constantly throwing up a ball, catching it. He'll do anything he can just to play sports. And we were talking about your father-in-law. Every once in a while, like he'll like jokingly like narrate a scene in golf or whatever.
Yeah.
My son will like call any game he can.
Call the plays.
He'll call the plays. He'll sit on the sidelines of a pickleball tournament and he'll call the pickleball tournament. Like he loves
That's
everything
awesome.
there is about sports. And while, it's very, very challenging to maybe become a professional athlete, while he probably could, he has the natural gifts to do it. We've talked about, I'm like, dude, even if you don't make that, if you love sports, there's a million ways to be around it.
Yeah.
Like, don't limit yourself to saying, oh, I have to be able to be a D1 athlete and then make it professional. Like, you can also become like an announcer. You can become an analyst. There's all these other ways you can still be part of the sports world.
But how much of that is should you be supporting versus steering? Like, take your son as an example. Like, you can say that to him, but like, he still doesn't have like the wherewithal to know, like, how do I penetrate that market or be around it or do whatever. So there's support, right? There's support where you're like, oh, just stick around, son, it will be fine. But steer is like very much like, okay, Dad, I'm going to take control and push you in this direction because I think that's what you want. So it's like it's a hard one because you don't want your kids to resent you later on, to be like, well, Dad kind of forced that on me. I only said I was interested in it. But then the flip side is, and maybe to an extent, like on my side, is like, well, if my dad had pushed me a little bit more, or he had taken the handbrake off, because when you're a kid, sometimes like you need that permission to know that the handbrake has like been taken off.
Sure.
And there's a really bizarre story. So my 5-year-old, she loves music. Like from the age of like 1 or 2, I mean, this kid was like singing like every lyric of every Harry Styles song that was out there. So like she just, and it comes from like my wife's side. Like she just is able to do that. My second oldest now has the same thing. And what was funny is she would go to school and we would like get like these like report cards from the teachers, and the music teacher was like, she's really quiet. She doesn't like really like join in. We do these like songs and dances, and it looks like she wants to join in, but she doesn't really like do whatever. And one of the teachers pulled her aside and literally used this phrase: "You're allowed to have fun." Literally, it was like the phrase was like, "You're allowed to have fun." And bizarrely, from that moment on, she was fully immersed in it. It was almost like that like handbrake thing to say like, you don't have to worry, you don't have to do whatever. So I kind of feel like it would sometimes like be helpful as a kid to know that like that handbrake was off. But then as a dad or as a parent, you run the risk of like both the tiger parent and the helicopter parent coming.
I think it's a challenge to. I mean, obviously that's why you're asking the question, right? It is a challenge, but I think that if your kid is that gifted and that talented, it's going to be irrefutable. It's not just you seeing it or you believing in your kid. Like everybody's going to, like, there's going to be coaches that come along being like, no, I know talent and your kid is, one of one.
Well, have you ever heard the story of, so you know how like Michael Bublé has like the Christmas market cornered? Like you don't hear
I
from him.
didn't know he did anything but a couple Christmas songs.
Exactly. But I think that I saw an interview years ago where they had said like, well, how did your family know that you could sing? I can't remember how old he was. He was like, we would always sing together, like as a family. Like we'd always like be singing in the car. He's like, and one day we were singing whatever song, and like every person had like their parts, and they would like sing it. He's like, and then I hit this note, and he's like, I closed my eyes, I hit this note, and then when I like came to and like realized, he's like, the car had stopped, and everyone was like turned around and like looking at me. He's like, what? They were like, that was incredible. And he's like, from that moment on, like my parents knew that like I had some kind of.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
That's why I keep singing in the car. Maybe one day,
my wife will look at me
and be like, whoa.
It took you 40 years, but now you've done it.
We're pulling the car for a different reason. We want to get out.
Do you ever do this with your kids where like you'll play basketball with them in the front yard, and you'll make like this unbelievable shot, and you'll kind of turn around and be like, I wonder if someone was watching.
Of course.
Maybe there's a scout out there who's
Yeah.
like, hey, sir, would you like to join like my G League team so that I can create the story about the amazing 40-year-old that I discovered who then made his debut?
Just takes one swish.
If only.
Yeah, me neither. I don't do that either.
No, I've got like older kids now, so like the athletic. I think there's a very clear difference between dreams that are like athletic dreams, or like there's like athletic dreams, there's artistic dreams, and then there's like dreams of like my one son from a very, very young age wanted to be an astronaut, and to this day he's now in high school, he would still say, "Yeah, I want to be an astronaut." No qualms about it. And he's like, I want to go to Stanford or go to MIT so I can work on spaceships and do whatever else, spacecrafts and do whatever else. Like, he's got a very clear vision of it, to where I think there are some dreams that are strong enough, and if the kid can understand how they can navigate to that dream, and it's our job as parents to basically, like, maybe in some ways show them reality without being like, yeah, you can be an astronaut, kid. Just wear your spacesuit and someone's going to recognize you. As opposed to, like, I sat down with him and was like, well, you know how astronauts become astronauts, right? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, typically most astronauts have to join the military.
Pilots.
And they have to become pilots. And then all the sort of stuff. And he realizes, like, I don't know if I want to do all of that, but I still love space. And I want to, like, work in the space or aeronautic industry. And so, like, that's sort of like how he started to sort of think about life. Because I just laid out the facts in front of him. And then he was able to decide, like, oh, that actually does sound fun, rather than just I get to wake up, put my helmet on, climb up in the spaceship, and go to Mars or whatever. So,
do any of your kids, and maybe this is more geared to you, but do any of your kids have, like, dreams that you hear and you're like, those weren't dreams that I had when I was a kid? Like, because now you've got like
broader.
Well, now you have things like being a YouTuber or an influencer or whatever else. So, like, I got like a funny story to it. Is my I've got one uncle who has 4 kids. And his 2 boys just now. So his 2 boys are super smart. They're straight A students. Both, like, sports team. They did every extracurricular at school. They're both great kids. And the elder of the 2 kind of paved the way for this. But the elder of the 2, and I'll tell it sort of the short version, started cutting hair during COVID. Kind of like blew up a little bit in terms of, like, his profile, both on social media and also.
Now, was he actually trained, or did he train himself?
Dude, like, COVID happened. He started, learning through YouTube how to cut hair. And then kids would then reach out and be like, can I get my hair cut? And he would have kids over. The teachers started saying, can I get my hair cut? And they'd come over. And so he kind of, like, grew it. And then, like, he has, like, this online following now. He's got, like, a decent crew of clients. He's got his own space now. But the way it worked was my uncle had basically said to him, and again, my uncle was actually first generation born in the UK. So maybe there's the divide between immigrant mindset and, like, first generation. Is he basically said, if that's your dream, and they kind of put, like, a time limit on it.
Sure.
So try it for this period of time. And if it doesn't work and you don't get traction and you're not enjoying it, whatever, then we can pivot to something else. And he's still doing it and crushing it. So there's something to be said about, like, alleviating the handbrake, because that paved the way for his younger brother to do something similar. In a more, like, sales, like, sort of role.
I feel like that's a super healthy way to, like, get your kids exposed without them realizing, like, everything's on the line here. Because I think that's a great example of, like, how a parent could say, listen, let's give it a time. Because the kids don't think like that. You don't think, let me give it a time frame and see if I like this. Like, you only get that after you've been through things and you look back and go, look.
Did you have any of that with your musical background? Like, was there anything that mom and dad said, hey, Matt, go out to LA and then come back with an imaginary dream?
It's funny, though, because, like, I started, when I first picked up a guitar, I kind of never put it down. So, like, I was at school, all I was thinking about was playing guitar. I get home, all I do is play guitar. And, my parents at first, like, I play a song. That's good, Matt, but can you learn another song? Because I just play the same song. And I never forget one day my brother, I had a little amp and I had an electric guitar that I could put some distortion on, right? And there was like a Creed solo that I was listening to cranked in my room. And my brother was not the most encouraging. He'd be like, dude, you suck, turn it off. Like, literally typical,
like all the older brothers.
Typical older brothers, But that day I literally went, like, note for note on this solo.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was actually pretty awesome. He's like, could you teach me how to play?
Oh, wow.
So it was like a turning point, like, but no, music is hard because you again, I didn't really have anybody, like, in my circle that, like, had gone and pursued something like that. So it was so foreign to me. I really didn't, like, know what the path was. You see people on MTV and, like, music, like, bands.
Yeah.
And that was always, like, a cool idea. But, I was active in a lot of different things, like in high school and college. And I did have a little run with a band after college. That was fun. But, again, you need a lot of things. It's just like sports. You need a lot of things to go right.
Yeah,
like there's people that are insanely talented that will never make a pro team. And it's the same way with music. You need so many things to go right.
Well, if you have one, so let's say one of your daughters is super musically talented.
Yeah.
One day you're there and you hear this, like, piano solo coming from the other room. You're like, wow, babe, that was incredible. Where do we go from here?
Oh yeah, I would get behind her, man. I'd be like, let's do
So
this.
do you then map out and steer her like path forward? Or do you support her and say, hey, listen, whatever you're passionate about, we will figure this out together? Like,
I think the interesting thing would be like, and I'm just thinking this out loud. The fastest you can take
as he pulls out his business plan.
no, the fastest you could show.
As I show in diagram 4 on page 12 of the business plan.
10 years out. No, I think the fastest maybe way that you could show a kid doing what they love could also be a way of making a living would be really beneficial.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a missing component.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather your child, I'm going to use made up numbers, so, you know, would you rather your child earn 50,000 doing what they love or 500,000 doing what they hate?
Definitely doing what they love.
Really?
Yeah,
doing what they love. I mean, if it was like 5 million and do something they hate, like, yeah, 5 million.
50 and 500 is still a
if you say hate, if you changed hate to like annoying or something, then
or just like
or just
you wake up
not
I'd say
like every day, are they like, is it Friday yet? Yeah. Is it Friday yet? I'd say there's really, I mean, now granted, there was a time in my life, it's still today. Like if someone like there's a lot of money out there where like you're like, yeah, people willing to pretty much do whatever for that money.
Yeah.
But you got to also remember,
there's also
like,
an inflection point.
There's also an inflection, like where like there's no amount of money that you're going to trade the few years you have of like your good health and all sort of stuff for what? Like, if you can't enjoy the $500,000 you make, it's like, why do it? Whereas like you see some people who like, you know that they don't have a lot in terms of like financial success, but they are so happy with what they're doing. It's almost irritating sometimes for being someone who's like so driven to like put numbers on the board. It's like, how can you be so happy?
Well, I think it's just the difference in moving the goalposts versus like knowing the goalposts are there and just getting.
But there's also impact, right? Like the person's doing what they love is making a huge impact.
Yeah.
Maybe the person making money is too, but the fact that they're connecting that to themselves and what they're doing is so much more fulfilling than be like, I'm just grinding out because I got to hit a number. You know what I mean? So I feel like in the end, you want your kid to be more
on both sides. Both
exactly.
Things.
Figure it all out.
Figure it all out.
Put
kid.
it all together.
We don't have to name a kid with this question. Okay, you don't have to name a kid.
Oh, I'm gonna name one.
You can if you want to. Is there anything you secretly would love for your kids to do?
Oh, dude. There's so many things. Like me and my wife will have conversations. I'm always like to have a kid play a sport at the highest level that you can go and cheer at in like a real, it has to be the coolest feeling in the world to go
like arena.
Yeah. Arena.
Even the Olympics would be amazing.
Whatever. Like even D1 athlete, like my girls, I'm like, guys or girls, whatever. All you have to do is be like, you can be a D1 golfer. There are the pool, and now it's getting a little bit more, there's getting more golfers, but the difference in competitive nature of like D1 athlete, young men versus young women, like there is so much opportunity for a young woman who can golf well.
Yeah.
I would travel everywhere to watch my daughter golf.
I'm the same bait. I would pick that too.
I would track anything. Like if my kid made D1, like literally my Delta points or whatever, it'd be crazy because I would go to
Delta points.
I would go to every single match that they had anywhere. I don't care. I'd be like crazy dad fan if my kid made it.
Yeah.
But the only way they're going to do it is if it's on their own like effort. Like I will never be like.
But golf is another support versus steer. There is. I just don't think there's a kid out there at 6, 7, maybe 8 years, even like the Rory McIlroy example. If you look at the McIlroy example, I mean, he's an only child.
I had this conversation with my sons yesterday.
He's an only child, so his parents like threw everything.
We were watching the
Travelers
Championship last night, and I told my kids, all of them again, I'm like, whoever wants to golf, ever, does not matter time, day, whatever. You just say, hey, Dad, I want to golf. We'll go to the range like that moment. I will pretty much drop whatever we're doing and go to the range. I'm like, but I'm never going to drag you out there. Like I am not going to drag you along, and we're not going to golf a round of golf until you can show me that you're proficient at hitting on the range. Yeah. Like I'm not going to go and watch you like.
What was the feedback?
They're like, we all want to go to the range, Dad. I'm like, no one's ever asked me. So I'm going to hang it up on the fridge. Anybody ever wants to? I didn't do this, but pull a tag, come to me and say, I want to go to the range, Dad. And I literally will get up from whatever I'm doing and we'll go to the range. Because to that end, like if I drag my kid out to the range.
Yeah, 100%.
And I do all that. Now, there's always a story of like, oh, my dad was always at the range, and so I just picked up a club, and I realized I could drive the ball 350 yards. Like, well, okay, that's one in a whatever, a Rory McIlroy or something like that, who at 5'8", the guy can somehow drive the ball 325 yards or whatever it is.
Insane.
It's a rare breed, as opposed to more than likely, if we're just talking about the law of averages, my kids would have a much better opportunity to impact the world choosing something that is probably not a professional sport. So like a secret dream of mine would be that they're in a professional sport, but I know in my heart that like, the percentage of which, from our perspective is like, that's what our goal is, right? As individuals, it's like, how can I impact the world with my special talents and gifts? If that's sports, music, whatever, great. But those are like, I look at those as like, there's very few people who are like, I was so good at X, Y, and Z, I just chose not to. Usually the world conspires to make sure that your best talent is exposed. And sometimes that means you just sing in the church choir, right? And you don't get to be Taylor Swift.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that means you coach your kids Little League because you love baseball and you just want to be around it and you never got to play professionally. But other times it means, you know how to build businesses and give away money and all the other stuff that comes around it. So anyway.
I just want my kids to be happy, but thanks.
No, like I think happiness is like, I would say there's a lot of times in my life, if you were to ask me at certain points, I would have given you very different answers of what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I think parent, the goal of a parent is to show that like chasing happiness it's not about chasing happiness. It's about chasing purpose. And purpose typically is where you're the most happy. When you can be a good spouse, a good a mom or dad, you can impact the business you work for or the team you play for or whatever. Because some of the best teammates, you hear these stories, are the teammates who aren't maybe number one. Like the one thing I'm thinking of right now is I've seen this thing it's Sophie Cunningham defending Caitlin Clark. And I don't know where, like I know Caitlin Clark's name. I don't know where Sophie Cunningham is in terms of like the hierarchy of like, is she good or is she not?
But she's always standing up for her teammates.
And that's it. Like, I have no idea who she is other than the fact that she's got her back and what an awesome teammate.
Yeah,
right.
To
absolutely.
where, she could be irritated that she's maybe not the number one on their team, but she's playing her role extremely well. And I think that's what we as humans and what our kids need to understand is like, listen, you might not be the superstar on your team. You might not be the number one lead vocalist or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
But if you play your role and you play your role well, everybody will be gravitated towards you because that's what your purpose was.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
a great example. Yours must be musician, right?
What's
For the
that?
kids?
Oh, for my kids? It's funny because I think I look at music a little differently. It's one of those things where it's a great outlet, just emotionally, creatively.
Yeah.
It's like if my kids all took to music, I would absolutely love that because it's just something. It's like
The
golf.
Welch band.
Yeah. Even if they don't do anything, it's just something that you can sit alone and play and get something from that. So like I'd be thrilled if they all did that. Now if they wanted to go and try to pursue it at another level, I'd be stoked. Yeah. I'd be super. And having the Welch band, I'd be even more stoked. Okay, all this is about me having a band so I could rip solos. I'm like, I need a drummer, I need a bass player, come on guys, keys, just hold it down.
I would just love to work with my kids when I'm older.
Yeah.
I
You
think
never
that'd be
told us
so-
what your 8-year-old dream was.
My 8-year-old dream. Mine was also like a sports star. Mine was to be a cricket star. It
Cricket.
was just,
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
He explained
Next
it to me,
week
He
on-
explained it to me the one time. And I'm like, I think this is what Harry Potter played. I'm not sure.
I think it took an entire 18 holes to get through cricket.
Well, you just run back and forth until somebody hits you.
All right. Well, let's finish on a bit of a game then. So, I pulled up. I'm going to do actually preschool, so up until the age of 5, and we'll split it by boys and girls. And I want you guys to list what you think of. This is, I think, a survey of like 10,000 kids that they've asked. But what are the professions or careers that boys and girls of a preschool age listed that they wanted to do? So let's go boys. What do we think boys want to do?
Fireman, cop.
Cop is on there. Fireman's on there.
Cowboys got to be on there, man. 5-year-olds, come on.
Cowboy
It better be
is...
cowboy.
Cowboy's not on here, no.
That's a shame.
It didn't read my Reddit post there.
No, it did not. Stop posting.
Athlete, I think athlete would be
Athlete's
Yeah,
on
on
here.
yeah,
Yep,
of course
athlete's
be
on
on
there.
I'd
there.
probably throw astronaut on there. I still think
Astronaut's
that's,
on here.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
astronauts
still
on here.
awesome.
Wait, how many are on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top 10. So police officer is number 1.
Yeah.
Professional athlete, number 2. Firefighter, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you say? You said astronaut.
Yeah, astronaut.
That's number 8.
I don't know. I'd
Could be a lot of
Superhero
athletes.
number 10.
Of course. I mean, yeah. So like
Obviously.
a doctor. Is there a doctor on
No
there?
doctor,
Oh,
actually.
man.
Yeah. Train driver 9.
Okay.
Of course.
Train driver.
Train
Pilot
driver.
number 7.
Ooh, pilot. I forgot about pilot.
Heavy equipment
pilot.
operator.
Race car driver.
Ooh.
Yeah,
6.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Soldier
Oh wow. That's
5.
Still number 5.
Wow.
That's
and
good.
builder number 4, which makes sense. You're
Yeah.
always building
Yeah,
building
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
That makes sense.
construction.
Those are all solid.
Those are good.
Those
are
are great
solid.
careers.
Yeah.
Girls,
Professional athlete. No.
I would say.
professional athletes not on here.
No,
I would
that's
say like
5-year-old.
nurse.
Nurse is on here. Yep.
Yeah, nurse. I would say
Fashion designer.
Yeah, fashion designer, like
Not for a-
cosmetologist.
not for a 5-year-old.
Oh, not for a
Oh,
5-year-old.
5-year-old's not
I guess
bad. Yeah.
5-year-old wouldn't know.
Yeah.
A princess.
Princess is number 10.
Princess. I would
Yeah.
assume they want to be a princess.
You must have had that too.
of course, cowboy princess. You know,
Yeah, cowgirl's got to be on there, right?
Okay. Andrew the cowgirl.
Andrew the cowgirl.
Let's go Baker. I'm going to use one
Oh,
my daughters are
Baker's
doing.
a good
Baker's
one.
not on
Baker's-
here.
No?
Mom
Not
is
on there?
mom like being a mother.
No, not on here actually. No.
Really?
5-year-old girls. I'm trying to
5-year-old
think.
girls.
You've
So,
got a 5-year-old. You,
so we have
Yeah, she's cowgirl all the way, man.
singer like a
Singer is
like
on
a
here.
gymnast or a
singer, dancer is on here.
Dancer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Dance is big. I forgot that.
What else would they
Vet
be?
is on here.
Vet. That's
Vet,
solid.
yeah,
Being a
that's
vet.
a
I mean,
good, that's
yeah,
a good
that's
answer.
solid.
My wife
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to be a vet when she was a little girl.
Teacher is on here.
Teacher,
Yeah.
Doctor is on here.
doctor.
I think that's everything. We've covered everything.
So they're going to control the economy and everything we need.
While the boys
While
are
the
out
boys go-
racing.
I want to put out fires and go fast. It's like awesome, bro.
Awesome. Well, look, that feels like a good place to end. Why don't you take us home, Matt?
Yeah, guys, you can find more content on all the social channels at Chief Dad Officers. Leave us some comments. Let us know some other topics you want us to talk about. Until
What
next
you
time.
wanted to be when you were 8.
Yeah.
What are some of our listeners? What did you guys want to be
Yeah,
when you were
exactly.
8?
We'd like to hear the 8-year-old versions of yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Until next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.